We caught up with a couple of Sioux Falls residents who have ties to Palestine to get their thoughts on the war and how it is being received here in the United States and even close to home. John Gaskins with our 5:30 top story now. John.
Brian, we'll start with Nadia Musa, whose family moved to Sioux Falls over a decade ago from Bethlehem, a Palestinian town 45 miles from Gaza. Most of her family lives there, and she knows that they're okay, but fears for what may come next, and that it has taken up so much of her headspace. She tries to go about her everyday life here, living in a little fear.
There's this sort of kind of almost feeling of survivor's remorse, that I have this privilege to be here when so many people in my family do not. That's very difficult for me.
What has also rattled Nadia is the full, unwavering support of Israel from American political leaders like President Joe Biden, and closer to home, Governor Kristi Noem and Senator John Thune. Nadia finds it all unacceptable.
We're seeing genocide being imposed upon people in Gaza, with United States officials having little to nothing to say about that.
On Saturday, Biden told CBS that while terrorist group Hamas needs to be neutralized, the group does not, quote, represent all the Palestinian people, unquote. On Sunday, Noem and Thune joined a prayer vigil in Sioux Falls for Israeli people who have died. It was also a show of support for the local Jewish community. Nadia feels that kind of support for Palestinian people in Sioux Falls would mean everything.
We have to look at the context of a city under blockade. No food, no water, no electricity, no access to medical aid, hospitals being bombed. If it were anywhere else in the world, it would be our entire community coming together to back this population. So why aren't we?
Tanisa Islam is a practicing Muslim who has lived in Sioux Falls for 20 years. She's a former mayoral candidate and hasn't experienced any Islamophobia. But since the first attacks on Gaza 9 days ago,
I had to sit down with my 12-year-old, really explain to him, a 101 of what I know about the history and politics and how to handle it if someone made a threat against him at school or said something derogatory or Islamophobic.
Women say that more light needs to be shed on how this conflict didn't just start 9 days ago, that there has been an apartheid of Palestinian people for 75 years, and they both challenge people here to see beyond what they consider a dominant narrative of concerns only for Israeli victims from both political leaders and the media, and that there are humans suffering on both sides. Brian and Sam?
John Gaskins for us at 5:30. John, thank you.